What's up, guys? Our wrestling podcast back at you with another episode. This is Dave Vicious, along with Jess, the Total Package, Craig, the British Bulldog, and Cuz, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. Someone feed me today's topic.
Well, Dave, today we're here to bring you an episode that is sure to break the Richter scale. That is the YouTube algorithm. We are coming at you with O.W.P. WWF SUMMERSLAM 1990 review.
The World Wrestling Federation presents a double main event. The Immortal Hulk Hogan versus 476 pounds of the Earthquake. Plus, World Wrestling Federation champion, the Ultimate Warrior, defends against ravishing Rick Rude in the confines of a steel cage. It's SummerSlam.
For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts, or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Podcast. On social media, give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter at OWP2019, or catch us on Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast. Guys, let's just jump right into it. We're talking about SummerSlam.
That was the Cuzquake.
That was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. So we're talking about August 27th, 1990, SummerSlam at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, PA. In attendance, we had 19,304 people, and we had Vince McMahon along with Roddy Piper on the announce booth, which was really just a couple of chairs on the corner, I think. And Howard, the Finkel, was pulling our announce duties per the usual back in the 80s and 90s, guys.
And over on WCW, Sting was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Lex Luger was the United States Champion. And Doom were the WCW/NWA Tag Team Champions here at this time. That's my thing.
Yeah. So, all right. Match number one, Jess. We've got the Rockers versus My Secret Shame, Power and Glory.
Yeah, no, I figured that you would have a lot to say about this match. But really quick, too, we had a dark match. Shane Douglas defeated Playboy Buddy Rose in the dark match. Shane Douglas. And WWF 1990. So many people forget how long Shane Douglas has been around.
The Doug was there.
The Dougie Poo. But yes, the opening contest, after a hot opening by Rowdy Piper and Vince McMahon, Craig said it earlier, the crowd was insane. Like, they were really hyped and ready. The opening match was the tag team match, Power and Glory, Hercules and Paul Roma, Dave's favorite tag team with their manager Slick. They defeated the Rockers, Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels, in an opening tag team match, 6 minutes. I'm going to jump right in, if you don't mind. I gave it, if you include the story and everything, I gave it a solid A- because they could have pulled. Shawn Michaels legitimately had a knee injury. Yes. And so instead of pulling it and giving, Marty Jannetty, Jim Powers or something as a fill-in partner on a pay-per-view, they kept the Rockers in. So they had Michaels, get hit by Hercules with the chain. Michaels really had to go for surgery. I think he left like the next day to get surgery on his knee. But they didn't want to pull him from the card because they've been advertising this match. So it's not your conventional opening bout, but I gave it a solid A because the crowd was so hot, and I liked the story a lot. And Power and Glory made a massive statement. I don't think I'll ever forget that, because it kind of became their undoing after a while. But the crowd, especially when they did their the suplex splash off the top rope, their awesome finisher, that place popped like shit for heels. It's crazy. And people were even golf clapping them too. The ones that you could tell didn't want to cheer heels were clapping, and I was like, man, it became their undoing after a while. But because Vince, don't get over if you're a heel, don't get over as a bad guy, but don't get over, don't get cheered. And they were in Philly though, but I have a feeling every market was like that because Power and Glory was cool as shit. So I give it a solid A-. Go ahead, Dave.
I'll give it I was going to give it a B+, and I thought I was being too generous, to be honest, because
if you judged it on a match, I could understand you wanting to go lower, right? But I thought it was fine. I don't remember a SummerSlam opening like that before or after. It was just chaos from the beginning, where as soon as he hit him with the chain, Vince is like, "Ah!" and Piper's like, "Ah!" And it was just kind of all. But it was a good thing. They weren't talking over each other. It was just constant chaos. And Vince's octave was like, and Michaels, the whole match, he sounded like this.
Tell you,
It's like,
I actually kind of enjoyed them. I know that sounds really weird, but I think they paired off well together.
I actually like the way they commentated. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Piper's like, what did he have in other matches? Like you can tell he knows what's going to happen. He's playing the storyline quite well, so they did well. And this opening match was definitely different because they said there was no work from Michaels, who definitely he's what you would call a ring general even here. But Jannetty pulled it off quite well, took the beatings, took the double teams well, got his moments in, but then eventually Power and Glory would overcome because it is basically a 2-on-1 match, and they do hit their patented finisher, that splash suplex, which I thought was just one of the coolest tag team finishers ever. And like I said, just Power and Glory is my jam, but I gave it a B+ just because I think it could have been better. Obviously, if Michaels was healthy, I think we had a great match. If it had finished the same way, with Power Glory taking it over, but Michaels being healthy, I would have given it an A easy because I think it would have flowed really well. So I'll give it a B+ just for that purpose. What you got, Craig?
I give it a B. And it was good to see Power and Glory highlighted. It was a great showing of just how kind of popular and where Vince, I think where they were destined to go. And it was great to see Marty Jannetty shine. Took some punishment there. It was I give it a B for in the beginning, and then it ended with an actual like foot on the chest of Jannetty, which was like, whoa. I was like, with the Rockers in the doghouse, even plus that, like shit, like was this punishment for their little drug and alcohol stuff? But
like a party.
Yeah, it could be a way to
look at the lights at SummerSlam.
It could just be a way to go away for a while because what's Jannetty without Michaels? Quite frankly, we all know.
Yeah,
there, so.
it was good. I liked it. B.
Because
I got to give it a B+, man. I mean, when we were watching, or when I was watching it, and the crowd was popping like that, and I don't know, I put a smile on my face. I was enjoying it. It was perfect for an opening match, and you know they hadn't put like the whole story of Michaels after them beating on the knee and hurting him. Oh, post match, I should say. That whole part, like that. It's important to have those moments because, you know, you had little kids like me that were watching this back then and like, oh, and that garnered my sympathy watching that shit. And it's important for the story.
And it wasn't for a title. It was just a nice feud between teams with something dastardly done. Like,
but it sticks in your head as a kid. That sticks in your head. You're like, oh, yeah, you know, and you're like, oh, no, this has got my sympathy and I want to see those guys get their ass whipped. But at the same time, you know, God damn it, when they popped for that shit.
Also, they did a promo with Kerry Von Erich, who was wearing different color tights in the promo than when he came down to the fucking ring.
There's a little known fact there. He pooped himself when the live taping began. So.
He might have.
I 100% believe that. You. I was like, is that from Dave Meltzer? Because I get it.
So he pooped his pants. I don't know. San Martino used to poop his pants.
Let me tell you something about Texas tornado, bro. Hey, when it comes strong and.
We're never gonna get through this.
Too many pills for the old Carester.
Too many water pellets.
I just made some chocolate milk lemonade.
The next match is for the WWF Intercontinental Championship. Mr. Perfect was the defending champion against Kerry Von Erich, Texas Tornado, who pulled off the upset. By the way, 5 minutes 15 seconds. I give it a C. Kerry was a last-minute sub for Brutus Beefcake. Brutus Beefcake was legitimately supposed to face Mr. Perfect for the IC title and defeat him, by the way. But about 2 weeks or 3 weeks before SummerSlam, he got into that parasailing accident.
Yeah,
so
face him.
They didn't know if he was going to live, to be honest, for a while.
Yeah.
And so they put in Kerry Von Erich, who had only been on WWF television for like a month at this point. So they put him in there. They stuck to their guns because I think Perfect was going to lose no matter what. So I think they're like, take out Brutus, insert, Kerry, and, I think Perfect was going to win it back no matter what. But I think the most impressive part here is a lot of people don't know that Kerry Von Erich legitimately had a wooden left foot. Not the whole foot, but 80% he had a wooden filler put in his boot.
He lost 80% of his foot in a motorcycle accident.
He ripped his left foot off. And so he still taught himself how to walk and run and train and wrestle, which is pretty impressive when you think about it. So couple that with this is like his first pay-per-view on the big stage. He'd only been debuted like 3 weeks to a month before.
He's a Mr. Perfect replacement.
And I say that because Mr. Perfect, if you actually watch this match, which is why I think I was more nicer to it than I should have been, not because of Perfect, he carried Kerry from the beginning to the end. If you watch, every time Perfect got him in the corner, it was to control the action. Mr. Perfect was watching him on this is what like wrestlers at school should watch tapes like this. You don't watch the ladder matches and Hogan versus Warriors and all that stuff. That comes with your character getting over in time. What you watch when you're a wrestling student is how Mr. Perfect guided Kerry all over the ring. He legitly carried the match. That's what a professional, and that's how fantastic Mr. Perfect is. Nothing against Kerry. I just said about how it was amazing he could do what he did, period. But Kerry, not knowing the WWF style, not being in front of a crowd like this in a long time. I way over in Texas, and they had a lot of, like publicity and crowds back in the day. But this is 1990. He's on like the biggest company he's ever been in. And
this Texas tornado broke every rule from the bell rang until the time it was over.
Don't cry, Bobby.
I'm not crying. Get on my case. I'll knock you out, you miserable. Nobody beats Mr. Perfect. Texas tornado, you come on the scene. You make the scene happen. You wipe it out for Mr. Perfect. You come right from under everybody. Ain't the Intercontinental Championship. Well, the lump on my head is from the post. And you, Texas tornado, I will be back for you to reclaim what fully.
And for Perfect to carry him through, it's, I wanted to give it an A just because like I was so impressed with Mr. Perfect, but it's a solid C. It was short, sweet. It got the big pop. That's what they were looking for. It worked for the night. I'm not saying the reign was great or memorable.
I think it boils down to what they say. Vince always says, if you can't give him what was pushed on the card, give him something just a little bit better if you can. And the tornado is a specimen, man. So when you put him in there, that big son of a bitch against Mr. Perfect, people are they're gonna go, whoa, even if they didn't know him. And quite frankly, being in PA, I think a lot of people knew the tornado already. So he was already, they did like 2 weeks maybe of putting this together because the beefcake thing happened so soon. I think it was a couple of tapings, and they pushed it through all the Saturday and Sunday tapings. You would see tornado, challenging Perfect, if I'm not mistaken, for this IC title out of nowhere, and he gets a shot. To your point, Perfect is the ring general that he always is, controls the match, completely goes bump machine like he always does when he's about to lose, and he puts Kerry Von Erich over after being in the WWF for literally probably a month. I give it a C-, but not because of Perfect. I think Kerry Von Erich, when you really watch it back, I mean, it's amazing what he can do with basically 1 foot, but he's just a big dude that hits you in the face. I mean, that's kind of all he does. And then he spins around for a finisher for another hit in the face.
For the record, I hate the way Mr. Perfect sold the punch.
He oversold it like nobody's business.
Well, not overselling. It's Kerry punched him
in the shoulder.
And instead of him going this way and spinning,
he flipped forward, didn't he?
Punched him and he flipped into the punch. And I'm like, that makes no sense, at all.
Because the punch landed. They shouldn't have showed the replay. The punch lands on his right shoulder.
Yeah,
and it's like it wasn't good.
Yeah, certain things you shouldn't replay. Yeah.
I gave it a C. I kind of went the other way. I felt a bit sad watching Kerry Von Erich. I guess I didn't take into consideration. Jess is right that his quick turnaround. But I texted the guys as a joke before a couple hours when I watched it that like Kerry Von Erich is 80s Riddle, and then said you're welcome because of his promo. And I didn't know whether he was in the depths of his kind of addiction at this point. But he didn't seem right. And I don't think I've seen enough Kerry Von Erich from his world-class days to be impressed. I just kind of remember him from kind of almost his failed WWF experiment, and then the AWA Santa Super Clash where he cut himself on the way down the road, and kind of the tragedy of him. So I feel bad in kind of, I just felt a bit sad kind of watching this. But again, I never took into consideration just as valid points of he was thrown in there, and he's doing it on 1 foot, and at one point he was one of those popular wrestlers in the world and could sell out the Sportatorium. But I gave it a C.
And just, I don't know what you touched on that makes you want to say this note. Sadly, we're going to go match by match here, and either both of the combatants are not with us anymore, or one of them is gone. Mr. Perfect's gone, Kerry's gone. Yep. Like, it's insane, to think about that. Yeah. In the opening match, Hercules is gone.
Is no longer with us.
Yeah. And it's like these guys just started dying way too early. We're going to get almost every match. Someone's not with us anymore. Yeah.
Yep. So,
what do you give it? Cuz great.
Way to bring it down, man. You fucking
yeah.
I know.
I'm I think of the main event. I'm like, oh, But
we're gonna go Sensational Sherry dead.
Oh, cuz, what do you think?
Yeah. Oh fuck. I give it a C. Almost going to the plus just because of the work with Perfect, and I do agree, Craig. I think Texas Tornado Kerry Von Erich was stoned out of his mind in that promo. And what, like, I don't know, Jess, maybe you could answer this. I mean, they called, like, you know, when they come now, they change their names and they won't ever refer to what they were outside of WWE, but like they call him Texas Tornado, but then Vince still called him Kerry Von Erich.
Yeah,
like,
for a second they did. After he won the title, I specifically remember them only calling him Texas Tornado.
Okay, because that's all I ever remembered.
For a while in the beginning, Vince did call him Kerry Von Erich.
Yeah, okay. I thought that was interesting. I noticed that.
I'll never mention this again.
Yeah.
Because that's all Vince, to take his actual identity away, who he's known as.
Give it a solid C.
Yeah.
You ready to give the next match an F that never happened?
Yes. So the next match was supposed to be Sensational Queen Sherry against Sapphire. I didn't give it a grade because it wasn't a match. Basically, playing in the storyline, Sweet Sapphire's music played. She never came out. They stopped the music. They started it again. She still didn't come out. So Sherry won by forfeit. So now you're like, where is Sapphire?
And I just want to say, it's sorry to jump in. I think it was unfair to forfeit at this point. I think anyone that's had to perform and has had to take a nervous shit before, obviously, and sometimes like you'll step in the shower in the morning and then immediately like, hey, you forgot that you have to go to the bathroom and take a shit. Well, while you're in the shower, then get out. Like, to not let Sapphire finish her obviously nervous gastro before her for like this match. It wasn't fair. It just wasn't fair.
You, Kerry Von Erich shit his pants, and then Sapphire did too. The next,
yeah.
Well, I was the one that called on the extra trunks.
There's a lot of food poisoning going around Philadelphia, PA that day.
It was really humid in PA that night. It was part of the problem.
I was like, they're all the oysters in catering. Let's go.
Getting all the meat sweats after. Yeah, that's what it was.
So, cousin Dave, do you care about this match?
No, moving on.
No.
Okay.
Wow.
Fair enough. So after Sapphire didn't show up, that's right. They go back to Mean Gene Okerlund. Is it Mean or Sean? It doesn't matter.
It goes all
Sean Mooney with Rhodes going, Dusty, we don't know where Sweet Sapphire is. Can you help us? He's like, I don't know. I don't know where Sweet Sapphire is.
Hacksaw, you see Sapphire.
And then
come on, Hacksaw, you see Sapphire.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan walks in to add the realism to this. Like, you couldn't just leave it with Dusty and Sean, just literally just saying, I don't know where she is. I'll go find out. I'll get back to you. Back to you, Vince. That's how it should have worked. Instead, someone's like, Duggan, you need to walk in like you're looking for Sapphire. So Duggan enters stage right and comes in like just a total animation. And Dusty goes, oh, Hacksaw, have you seen Sweet Sapphire? No? But we're all still looking, Dust, like in the most animated, ridiculous.
I'm worried big time, because you've never done anything like this before. Hey, Hacksaw, have you seen Sapphire, baby?
No, I haven't, Dust, but we're all still looking for her.
Well, what about these gifts?
Craig,
thumbs up.
Funny, by the way. Like, let me do it. I'll be Craig, you be Hacksaw. Here we go.
Okay.
Hey, Hacksaw, excuse me. Have you seen Sweet Sapphire?
No, not yet, but sorry for your loss. She's probably dead. And it was with that same kind of...
We're all still looking for her.
We're all still looking for her. And then we imagined, like, the conversation with Vince. He's like, yo, but Vince, would I be actually carrying my 2x4 if I was really concerned about Sapphire? So, yes, you'd have the 2x4.
You would do everything you would normally do.
Okay.
Never hurts to ask, boss.
We talked about Hacksaw before we started recording. Hacksaw was the epitome of doing exactly what Vince tells you to do. Exactly. You're gonna be a little bit off your cracker, and you're gonna carry a 2x4.
He was that nice in real life too.
Jess said it perfectly. The angle didn't need anybody. Dusty could sell it himself and sell the danger and the his care for her. He didn't need Hacksaw walking in stage left. Like, so stupid.
I just don't know where she is. I just don't know. And that's it. Just pan off. That's all you gotta do.
We're all still looking for her.
I'm just like,
Baby, spin him on the keyboard, bro. You gotta stop that.
Okay, so now we'll go to the next match. like I said before,
Warlord versus Tito Santana.
Versus Tito Santana, 5 minutes 28 seconds. I gave it a D. Not a fan of squash match on pay-per-views. But what was actually supposed to happen again? I know Dave is going to be hard on the overall grade on this card later, but this card was literally scotch taped together. Shawn Michaels came in injured. Brutus Beefcake got his face smashed. Sapphire no-showed. And then Rick Martel was actually supposed to have his blow-off match with Tito Santana for this pay-per-view, but I
didn't know that.
Yes. So I remember the graphic when they first announced the card, 5-6 weeks before the actual event. They had the Tito Santana and Martel graphic to face each other, but Martel got injured shortly after, and then Warlord filled in. And they turned into a fucking squash match. Like, Santana doesn't deserve better. Like, Jesus.
I mean, boy, it looks like he's going to collect more than his thoughts. Santana for the run. Down to the middle with a power slam. Hook in the leg. 2 and 3.
Just made too strong.
Here is your winner, the Warlord.
2 on 3.
So the next match is the WWF Tag Team Championship. The defending champions, Demolition, all 3 of them, took on the Hart Foundation, which you didn't know until right before which 3 would be. And it was also a 2 out of 3 falls match. And it was 14 minutes, 24 seconds. I give this match a grade A. This match was excellent. The crowd was fucking into it. They were into the false finishes in the first fall, for fuck's sake. Like, I believe it. It was such a great story, even though the not recognizing the members of Demolition is completely stupid.
Freaking dumb.
That's where I'm going with it.
And so I could pick that apart.
They look alike, huh?
90. But at the same time, LOD's pop was fucking huge. This was right when they came. They were only in the company for like 3 weeks here. Vince just pulled them over here from WCW/NWA. Hawk still looks so fucking impressive. Like, when he got up on the apron, I was like, Jesus. Like,
they look great.
They look so young and great or whatever. And this was their introduction into the WWF. So they helped the Hearts win. That pinfall on the third fall was incredible. That pop, I loved it because I'm a Heart Foundation guy.
I forgot it was 2 out of 3 falls, and I thought that Hearts had lost.
5 seconds to get in and out. It is not reason for disqualification.
The angle is hurt. And down. That should do it. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Well, I'm glad I did not
The winners of the first fall, Demolition.
Off the
first one.
up the second fall because the first fall was fine. The heels established their dominance. They pinned him clean. Hearts can always be valuable. But the second one, when Crush grabbed the ref and the ref disqualified him, he did it because he was breaking up the pin. What did it matter?
Yeah.
The ref was going to get him disqualified, not breaking up the pin because they've been doing that all match. He knew grabbing the ref and shaking him around was going to get himself disqualified. But what I think Crush's choice is that I would rather lose by DQ, brother, than a pin. Well, it doesn't matter. A fall is a fall in a 2 out of 3 falls match. So it doesn't matter. Let's smash.
So that's dumb shit number 1.
Would have been one thing if it was the first fall. That should have been the first fall.
All he had to do was break the pin up and the fall wouldn't happen. But instead, he's like, I'm going to bear hug you, brother. Like, for no reason. And the ref's like, you're fucking disqualified, you idiot. And I'm like, what?
It's just
dumb. Taking a pinfall. No, it's not.
I can't break up the pinfall, but I can bear hug.
And think about it. They brainstormed that backstage, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. This is like a B- match for me. And
come on, Brad.
This is where it takes me into it. But that Crush situation really pisses me off. Then we have the whole debacle during the third fall where Axe just looks like the other guys. Like, it's totally fucking fine. I get so angry, and the ref can't tell. I mean, even Vince can tell. Vince can tell. He's like, that's not the right person. You're like, yeah, no.
Even though at the beginning he was like, I can't tell them apart.
He has short hair, bro.
Crush is taller,
and they made this big deal in the beginning of the match. Well, that's obviously Crush is taller. Because look how tall he is.
Yeah.
And they're making this big deal out of it. And then Axe comes out with hair that's shorter than mine. Well, they just look so much alike.
40 years older than Crush.
Yes. It's like that.
And by the way, out of those 3, Crush is not with us. And the older 2, Slash and Axe.
Oh, wow.
But what I'm saying is just
and
Neidhart. And Anvil's no longer with us. And, Piper on the mic is no longer with us. But
every match.
If you're gonna do the switcheroo, do it with the two guys with fucking long hair, because you would expect Axe and Smash to come out, and Crush could be the guy under the ring and really start destroying people. Plus, Axe wouldn't have fucked up the bear hug bullshit as well. I'm just saying. So this all bothers me. And then on top of that, the Legion of Doom come down and do all this bullshit. It ends up in no DQ whatsoever, but that's fine. That makes no sense.
It was a no DQ fall. Everybody knows that.
It was a no DQ until you touch the referee. Okay, I don't. That again doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And then
you don't touch
at the end of it, like that's how you're gonna end it. You're gonna basically splash into, I'm gonna trip you. I'm gonna come up underneath you and do the doop and stupid. Like, do your finisher. Do your freaking finisher and finish the freaking match. Don't give me the freaking stupid, I'm gonna trip you from behind and we're gonna get you. Wink, wink. No. Like, do it right. If you're gonna do it right. It's a 2 out of 3 falls. Do it right. If you're gonna have switcheroos, get the guy with the same length of hair at least under the mat of somebody else. It's a B- for me, but for all reasons. But the crowd was into it.
I want to really believe that if wrestling was real and Demolition was strategizing, they would talk in their, gravelly voices or whatever, and they actually said,
I can't pull it off.
I want to know that they said switcheroo during their.
Yeah, we did it. We're gonna do a switcheroo here.
Are you sure you want to do the switcheroo then? We're doing the switcheroo then. Okay, like it's just that's Axe would say.
Look what's happening here! A trip! The Legion of Doom have come to figure it out! Match is still in progress! 1, 2, 3! What a match! What a match! Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this test and new World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, the Hart Foundation!
That's the Repo Man later on, ladies and gentlemen.
What do you think?
I gave it an A. The only thing I had an issue with, strangely enough, despite that, you had a lot of valid points there, Dave.
Axe
But
not
I
wearing
still enjoyed the hell out of it. The promo at the end of it, when it was Legion of Doom's promo, and then the Hearts came in and then stand like in front of them.
Yeah, what was that? What was that?
Ooh.
I
almost
almost teasing, even as a kid, I thought they were teasing the Hearts and LOD. And I was like, great.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
but
would've
it
been great.
never. It was still like,
Hearts
hey,
have
we're
turned
buddy
heel.
buddy.
Like, great. This is great.
But Hawk and Animal were then like, what are we?
Yeah. And he starts stroking Anvil's beard, which was also awkward and kind of erotic.
Hawk kind of cracked up when he did that. I was kind of laughing when I saw he's stroking his beard now.
Oh, what a rush!
Oh yeah. What do you got, Cuz?
Didn't Craig go?
Yeah, Craig gave
yeah.
it a A. Yeah.
Okay, I give it an A-. I mean, I have to sit back and relax a second, because if we went by logical booking all the time, we'd probably give all the matches worse grades than we give them. You have to understand that was the booking back then. I did hate when Vince I can't tell them apart.
Not true.
Maybe. Well, yeah, it depends on the work in the ring, which this match did deliver as far as in-ring work. I hated when Vince, I can't tell them apart other than Crush is taller, but yeah, I can't tell them apart. Like, all that shit was stupid.
I just identified him.
And then later on he does, he's like, well, yeah, that's not Crush.
Right.
But
And they also
match,
Axe run from the aisle under the ring, by the way.
Yeah.
Before this all happened.
Cameraman caught it all. But it's okay.
the match though, I love the match. I enjoyed the match. Like, that was another match that put a smile on my face, and I knew, once it was done, that we all would probably say, yeah, best match of the night, and it was the best match of the night, honestly.
Piper ended up more stupid too, because like Vince, as dumb as he played it, because he had to sell the whole like you can't tell them apart or whatever.
Yeah.
And Piper's like, how do you know? You didn't know before. Now you know.
Now you know. Yeah.
Dumb and dumb.
you, Vince?
Do you know?
You, Vince?
Yep.
Well, but it was a tag match.
It was a great
by
match,
the way, just so you all know, we're all still looking for Sapphire at this moment.
The Hart Foundation, second time WWF Tag Team Champions here.
There you go. So we're looking for Sapphire, and we go on to the next match.
Okay. The next match is Jake Roberts versus Bad News Brown with the Big Boss Man as a special guest referee. Side note, Bad News Brown was about a month away from saying peace from this promotion. 4 minutes, 44 seconds. I gave it a D-, which is probably being nice. One of the few terrible Jake Roberts matches. Bad News was on his way out, like I said. And due to Bad News leaving, Rude stepped in to start the feud with the Boss Man after. It was actually supposed to be Bad News making mama jokes originally, but it ended up being Rude, which also I know we covered Rude in our Legacy of Rick Rude episode. And the real thing why Rude got pissed and wanted to leave, not just because he was in an angle where he was calling someone's mom names and that was a whole angle. It was just the fact that, like, Bad News was the guy originally chosen for that. He couldn't do it. And they're like, put Rude in there. And Rude's like, am I fucking better than that or not? Like, why?
Brown hammering for the buck. That's only going to get the boss angry. He's a big man. You don't want to raise the iron.
Here comes the snake.
Oh, look at that.
Here comes it.
Bad News Brown is running for cover. Bad News Brown is out of here.
He forgot all about that sword.
I don't know what a
So we're
sword
gonna
is,
move the
man.
payoff to Royal Rumble, and Bad News won't be here. Oh, sorry about that.
I saw that taco.
Can you make a taco on a sewer rat, Smith? Please. I ate a sewer rat once.
Just
Saw that hoagie.
You're making me think of Demolition Man. Just don't ask where the meat comes from.
To keep the morbid theme of the episode up to Bad News Brown no longer with us, Big Boss Man no longer with us, and of all people, Jake Roberts is.
Damien's not with us. That one, anyways.
Damien's not with us.
There's a lot of Damians.
So
Boston's probably not with us.
the next match is fuck. Oh my God. Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Nikolai
so
Volkov.
bad for the Orient Express here, don't you?
Yeah, Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Nikolai Volkov defeated the Orient Express 3 minutes 22 seconds. Jim Duggan is, I said it before, Jim Duggan is an actual walking, talking cartoon character. It was such a bad match. I feel bad for the Orient Express because they were super talented, and Vince just did this to them.
I just have one thing to add to the
The beginning, that national anthem or whatever they fucking say.
No, not only that. No, it was God Bless America.
Yeah, God Bless America.
Get that right. And while they're singing it, and Hacksaw is completely out of tune, they are cutting to statues around Philadelphia, PA. While he's like, God bless America.
I thought they were mocking it, to be honest. Like I was in the kitchen. I did not see the
right. Like, that's a good point. That should have been a heel promo. Like,
it was Nikolai fucking with it. Like,
but Nikolai could sing though. He's like, God. He's got the operatic.
Like, oh, by the way, God bless the troops. I was just kidding.
Right.
I know. Whoa, one more thing. God bless.
In the Middle East. Oh. Yeah,
I was still looking for Sapphire.
He laughs at the end. Hey, he can sing. He's a good singer.
Whoa, and one more thing. God bless our troops who are still looking for Sapphire. Ridiculous. Fucking Duggan.
Yeah, it's awful. And the Orient Express has to put these jack all that talent.
I would keep looking.
I'm pretty confident the Orient Express didn't hang around much longer.
Yeah.
No, Craig, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah,
What match that we haven't already?
What?
What do you want to say about
You got to
that?
grade it, bro. You got to grade it.
Oh no, B-. It was great. I fast forwarded it. I listened to a little bit in the beginning of the thing, of the God Bless America, and then I heard the thing about the troops, and then I laughed and fast forwarded it.
B- based on that. What do you got, cuz? We're putting that down. That's being recorded.
I give it fucking D. I just couldn't get into it at all.
Oh, someone hates America. Okay.
Whoa, I give it an F, bro.
I'm just surprised Roddy Piper just like, go, I get a wonton taco. I'm like,
You want an American taco? So next,
when they say our home, sweet home, I swear Hacksaw's just going, our home, sweet home. He can't even finish it.
I bet he did.
It's exactly what he did. I'm like, oh, bro.
Did you like what I did out there, Vince? I said home instead of home. That's Hacksaw. It was great.
I had a lot of
I can see what
tonight.
it was very good. Pat him on the back. Very, very good.
I got a big script, tough guy.
I get a Philly cheese taco.
Oh, my favorite pay-per-view ever has to be Slam 90. I was working overtime. Like on a shooting.
Nice. That's a good one.
We're all really concerned about Sapphire.
Backstage, I said, I don't know the lyrics to God Bless America. Had to learn them real quick.
Still never finished.
And we're still looking for,
I'm sweating. I'm laughing so hard.
Speaking of still looking for Sapphire, we finally get the payoff, which is absolutely ridiculous. Dusty Rhodes versus Macho Man Randy Savage, Macho King Randy Savage.
Randy Savage against Dusty Rhodes, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. I gave it a minus, and the only reason why I give it a C- is because if you just look at the storyline, it was kind of cool. But the two talent, Randy Savage, who's no longer with us, Dusty Rhodes, who's no longer with us.
Sensational Sherry, no longer with us.
Just saying those two names. Yeah, Sherry no longer with us. Just saying those two names, like they should have had a way better match than this or been allowed to. So this match was sort of a victim to the storyline, which is what I said. It sucks. It was sacrificed for the Sapphire storyline because they're, existing feud that they had for, 9 months, 10 months they'd been feuding. Overall, I loved the story, but the match, of course, was just an afterthought. And I'll just say it too. DiBiase comes out and DiBiase announces that the reason why Sapphire went missing, and we forgot to mention too that weeks on Superstars of Wrestling leading up to this, she would just get mystery boxes with like a necklace, a new Cadillac, a fur coat in it, and right. So now you found a benefactor, Ted DiBiase, who came out.
I love how he can buy her a Cadillac, but he has to get one of the complimentary WWF duffel bags to put hundreds of thousands of dollars into.
Right. How come they can't release people with the same bags instead of trash bags? You know what I'm saying?
Whoa,
they fired that guy, right?
So yeah, but DiBiase's line.
They fired the fall guy, bro.
Him coming out and taunting Rhodes and basically, blowing off the feud with Savage and setting up a new feud with Rhodes and like my millions of dollars has bought your humiliation.
And I think to your point, it moves Macho onto Warrior in a few months too, does it not? Yeah.
My money can buy anybody or anything. And tonight, Rhodes, it has bought our humiliation. And if there's ever been a doubt in your mind or in anybody else's mind that what I say isn't true, then I want you to feast your eyes on my latest purchase, Lock, Stock, and Barrel. Here she is, the sweet Sapphire. Oh, no.
So and Macho the win. So I get why it does it. It was a great storyline, but as silly as everything was, that was Dusty Rhodes, the way he had to portray polka dots, the way he had to, kind of just be a silly cartoon character of himself, which he always was very animated. He made the best out of this fucking gimmick, Dusty.
Oh,
and
man.
To cut promos, like he was the best for it.
And then the promo after this, and I don't know what it was. I thought it was at SummerSlam, but he's like, she took the money.
It was, yeah.
I offered up my innocence to her, and she paid me back in scorn. Like it was perfect. Like we joke about it, but like
Dusty can sell anything, and I swear we all talk about it, but we swear like Vince was just like, let's see if he puts this over. The polka dots were the first thing, right? And they're like, okay,
let's bring garbage man vignettes.
Like, and let's bring somebody in with no experience whatsoever, can't talk on the mic. I think we pulled her out of the crowd, and you're gonna put that over too. Yeah. And then when we have the stupid storyline, which by the way, nobody cared. Nobody cared about Sapphire. I'm just looking around to make sure nobody behind me, but nobody cared about Sapphire. Yeah. I could care less. But Dusty was the shit.
Yeah, and they saddled Dusty with another handicap. Like
and even at the end of that, he puts it over, right?
She's not she was legitimately a fan. I don't think she was ever in the industry like at all. She was legitimately a fan, which they portrayed her as a fan, and then he pulled her out of the crowd and she just danced with him. So they saddled him with polka dots, saddled him with her, and then he still has to get this over and cuts that line is amazing. It's iconic to me. I offered up my innocence to her.
Yeah.
Like it was just so like Dusty, and it was so like his working man promo and everything that he's done. Like he's so good.
On that podium next to DiBiase is his bodyguard Virgil, who from all accounts was named after as a rib to Dusty.
Yeah,
I don't know whether that's true or not. So he's staring at
I don't care what Bruce Pritchard said. It's fucking true.
A rip.
He's like, we didn't do that.
And I know this is kind of an aside too. I know we didn't like this match. It was too quick. It was unfocused, and obviously
D-.
Imagine being an indie wrestler in Philly. They're like, hey, bring your gear. Come to the Spectrum. You're gonna be featured in SummerSlam. And you get there, and then you're like, oh, you're gonna fucking carry Savage to the ring in your indie singlet, and I just need 4 of you. And
I'll do it for $100.
Do it. Shit.
Okay, maybe it was actually an honor. You guys are right.
It is. He's the king.
You want me to carry the Macho King down? Hell yes, I'm doing this.
Yes.
Just wear something better next time. Then
that's good point.
What was your grade, Craig?
I don't know.
An A.
B-. Even that was too nice.
Right,
B-.
Dave was
B-.
B-.
Did you say D- as in dog?
I could care less about the storyline, about the 2-minute match, about the blow-off was bad. I don't.
Okay.
Carry no interest.
Cuz, what was your grade?
I'm gonna go with the C-, just because so much disappointment in what could have been if they gave them more time. Like you said, Jess, good. Storyline wise, yeah, it was good, but just such a disappointment because those two are capable of way better.
Why don't you bring Sapphire out at the end? Hey, it was a great one. I had a little bit of digestive distress, but I'm good now.
Yeah.
And she's there with him, and then $1 Million Man comes down and they turn on him and they beat him that way after about a good 10-12 minutes of solid work.
Sorry, Jess.
I'm fine with that part, but still,
I'm just trying to tell you, I don't get it. I don't
just have the match.
Sorry, I shit my pants. Let's go. And then they go down.
Ruin the fur coat. That is my fault.
Like Dusty goes off the ropes to drop his big bionic elbow and she trips him.
They could have done the way they did it. They could have done the way they did it with that. Just add on another 5 minutes.
And then you literally just dump.
That's fine.
Just dump hundreds of thousands of dollars on Dusty while he's laying in the middle of the ring when it's all over.
But I did like the run after the limo. I thought that was well timed. It's obviously Dusty was distracted, and that's why he lost. Like you could just feel his pain. Like he was the best.
You can see where in this pay-per-view, especially vignettes, were taking over actual matches here.
Oh yeah,
and that's part of the problem.
Dude,
Dusty was great.
Yeah, and honestly, that was the real like. Sapphire obviously didn't say a word. You never saw her. She just showed up in the nice dress and the fur coat and said nothing, and that was the best thing you could have done for her.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was Carrie because she was worthless. Sorry,
Sapphire.
Yeah.
He gave it a C-.
Or C-. Sorry, yeah.
So the next is the next match is a part of our double main event.
We're gonna do it right.
The returning Hulk Hogan returns after Earthquake sat on him like 3 months before. In actuality, he was out filming a movie. I believe it was Suburban Commando. Hulk Hogan took on the Earthquake, who put him out of action, and we all got yellow bracelets if we wrote letters to Hogan. And Tugboat was supposed to be in Hulk Hogan's corner, but I don't know if he got injured or what. I have no idea what happened with Tugboat here. But Boss Man replaced him last minute, so that's why Boss Man was in Hogan's corner. Again. He defeated the Earthquake by count out at 13 minutes and 16 seconds in his return match. Fuck you guys, I don't care. I'm going to give this match a B-. Hogan's pop was massive. That's all it was for. That's all it was for. That's the main match. I actually did like the fact that they had Boss Man's music play first because that crowd went insane because they thought it was Hogan. So they blew their wad popping for Boss Man, and then Hogan comes down. Hogan's pop.
I think Boss Man legitimately believed that was his pop.
Right. I always thought that too. I'm like,
he came down, just looking around like, flipping that nightstick, like, yeah, that's my pop. And you're like, that's not your pop, bro.
Boss Man got surprisingly over as a face, like for sure. Yeah. But yeah, Hogan's pop was huge. That's all this was for. I have mixed emotions. The facts that Earthquake should have been saved for the Warrior. I don't know why they fed him to Hogan, but he didn't lose by pin. Hogan beats him by count out. It's a hollow victory. It wasn't the last match, so it makes sense to me. Hogan never really looked the same to me, his character anyway, after his loss at Mania 6.
Where was the blow off? At Rumble?
No, they didn't really have it. Kind of.
Be proud. You know something? That's right, Mean Gene. Another chapter in American history will be written tonight. And just as Thomas Bossman Jefferson stood at the side of George Washington Hogan as I chopped down the cherry tree with the 24-inch pythons, we'll chop you down, Earthquake, and the Hulkster never tells a lie. So what you gonna do when the Hulkster and the big boss man pass their constitutional rights on to you?
I can hardly wait for this one, Vince. Let's get back to you.
their teams faced each other at Survivor Series that year. They fought on house shows everywhere, and then Hogan, threw him out at the Rumble to win, but Hogan never got a definitive pin victory over Earthquake on TV.
That's ridiculous. If you were gonna blow it off somewhere, then that makes sense, but they never truly did. In my mind, I thought that's what happened, but I wanted to be sure.
This was a by the book, typical Hogan versus Monster match. I'm not denying it, but at the same time, like it did everything it was supposed to do. Hogan, even though he was on his back nine here with his original run in WWF, like it was still kind of amazing when he walked out to hear that place go ape shit. Like he was a legit star and legend even back here, and that's why I give it a B-. Go on, go ahead and shit on it. Fine.
I'm not gonna shit on it. I gave it a B. I enjoyed it. It was a typical Hogan match, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the huge pop. And I watched the whole thing, and then I enjoyed the Hulk up even after two kind of avalanches. Is that what it was called when he put their butt on?
Yeah.
And then it's literally the biggest ovation and biggest pop for a count out in wrestling history.
Right.
Like it was a count out, and everyone still lost their shit.
Count out. He did. He actually slammed him on a table outside, which was
which didn't break.
And it was like a New Japan table that would never break. It was one of those tough ones.
Well, they hit it awkwardly. It had a stupid apron on. Like it was there literally to get for him to get thrown onto it. It was just stupid.
They're on three. A slow count. Look, here it comes. Boom.
In the shoulder, side of the head. Hogan taking advantage of it. Both of us the foot.
Oh, no.
On the table. Mama told me not to.
They're counting They're counting for the Hulkster. That's it. He won.
I would have never believed it.
Stupid.
But he missed it. Like, but 400 pounds, and he still, if that doesn't break the table, like
Hogan's fault.
That's the table's fault.
The one thing I'll say, and I give it a C+, but you forget how agile. Well, I don't forget because we've seen several things in our archives about John Tenta via Earthquake, and how just that guy could go for a while for a 450 plus pound man. He was moving, like I said, grass so quick. He had to do that, so if he stopped moving, he'd get tired. He had to keep going.
Yeah.
But
because Warrior Blue.
They wanted the pop. They probably had to get the cage together somewhere else. They're probably getting something going, and he had to sit there and pose. But I believe in my heart of hearts that Hogan was just pissed. Hogan was just pissed off that he wasn't getting the blow off he wanted with the poses and kept posing. He honestly was like, "Oh no, you're not allowed enough," and then he would go over here for like 5 minutes. I mean, bro, stop being a dick. Just give them what they want and get in the back.
What did you say?
You were arguing over either watching Hogan pose for 20 minutes or Warrior swing the belt around for 20 minutes.
No, honestly, I just want it to be over, Jess. I just want all of this to be over.
What are you arguing? One of their celebrations got cut short. Does it matter who? Did you want both 20 minutes full?
Warriors match got cut short.
I would like for them both to be like a minute 30 of posing and get the fuck off this.
You're arguing the total moot point here. Hogan poses all the time.
No, I'm telling you why I'm grading it that way. That's why I'm grading it that way, because he's out there posing for 20 minutes. That's a problem for me. Yeah.
Hey, Hacksaw, we're missing pieces of the cage to put it together real quick. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Out of that 2x4.
Yeah, they should have had Hacksaw walk down the ring just looking around like.
I mean, it looks like
he's a toolbox. I could do it quicker than you can.
He looks like he's looking for his construction site that he's supposed to be working on still every time.
So the main event of the evening, or co-main event, or whatever you want to say, it's for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. The defending champion, the Ultimate Warrior, defeated Ravishing Rick Rude in a steel cage. Big Blue, 10 minutes 5 seconds.
I give it a
C+.
B.
The storyline didn't have any legs. This would be Rude's last WWF appearance before leaving. I never believed Rude could win, so this match fucking sucked. Whoa. C+.
I think I carry the same C+ with you. I do. I didn't like any of it. Rude tries to sell things. All they do is throw each other into Big Blue for about 8 minutes.
And Rude bled, and it didn't even stay bleeding. It wiped off by the end of the match.
You
basically
couldn't even see it like the standard def.
It's so sad because the build up to the story with Rude packing all the muscle, all the vignettes were so cool leading up to all this, and to Jess's point, we all knew what was going to happen. Like, honestly,
Rude's working hard. He jumped off the cage how many times? From that
I give it plus because Rude jumped off the cage and he worked really hard. He was Rick Rude, like he was awesome. But like I didn't believe for a second, even in 1990 Jess, junior high Jess, I didn't believe
none of us believed that Rude was going
to.
We had been there, done that. We'd seen that. So why? And even in the picture behind Cuz, Ultimate Warrior's makeup is already coming off.
Yeah, so it was. You could see it on the bottom of his cheeks.
Yeah, before he even walks out.
I give the match a I give it a C+. I actually didn't give my Hogan and Tenta match fucking review. I give that one a.
Rate it real quick.
I give that. Oh, I was gonna say I give that one B, but because I want to make a joke, kind of joke comments. Look, we all, we know Hogan could work, right? We know Hogan could work. Warrior, look at this match. Look at, they both did the same thing. It was back to back, same match. Fucking they can't work. But people always talk shit on Warrior, like he doesn't sell and stuff. He sold in this match. Him and Hogan literally had the same match. One was longer, one was shorter.
Who is the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion?
Rude reached through the bars. You can still say that. Reach through the bars. Rude.
Look at gyration and down.
Rude still wants to fight. Rude still looking for a fight.
I give it a C+ though, just because Rude's fucking great. I love the Warrior. I love that pop that he came out to, and it was a good match.
He blew himself up. He climbed to the top of the cage, climbed back down, right, and then ran around it again.
But Dave, to go back to what you're saying about Hogan, I mean, maybe Hogan was being a dick to pose a long time. Like, I'm not in the main event, brother. But at the same time, we know that they did that because they're like, Warrior's gonna blow up before he even gets out there. We need to keep that match short and sweet and just send him home happy. And yeah, I give that much a C+.
Hey, Craig, before you grade it, what did you think of Warrior teasing Rick Rude on the outside by swiggling his hips before he fell to the floor?
That was actually pretty
best part of the night.
I actually kind of dug that.
Yeah,
I know. I did. That's the best thing.
And say whatever you want about Warrior. At least he believes his fucking character, and he fucking say whatever you want about him. But he believes in character, and he fucking his promos. You got to be on acid.
There's no reason why him and Rude couldn't have an A+ match in a cage, and Warrior cannot settle down for 5 seconds to unless it's move for move scripted out. He was so spastic.
Well, that's the difference. At least he sold I think Rude likes to flow in there.
He sold really well.
But when you put Warrior with Savage, it makes sense because Savage can tell him exactly what to do and reherse it 10 times or 20 or 30.
Honestly, there's only room for one. There's only room for
Warrior's passion. Unlike someone else, Warrior, hey man. I think Warrior gets a lot of rap, a lot of crap for some stuff.
But the difference is that Hogan could work and Warrior couldn't. That's the biggest argument.
Back to back right now.
I don't know where we're getting that from. Yeah, I gave him the same grade because I gave him a C+ on both. So I'm just.
I thought the Tenta Hogan match was better though.
Yeah, I'm so glad that Sapphire was safe.
What was your What was your grade on the cage match, Craig?
I don't know.
He's mixed. He's conflicted now.
C.
So overall, this pay-per-view was definitely in a time bubble. I have to say, I remember it more fondly when I rewatched it for the review. I still like the high points that I remember as a kid. But yeah, some of the matches that we had to sit through was just so terrible. Like Warlord and Santana and Bad News and Jake and all that garbage and Duggan and Volkov. But Power and Glory, I still will remember Power and Glory's strong performance as one of the highlights for some odd reason of this pay-per-view for me. I remember it for that reason. Hogan's return was a big deal, but his character was never the same after losing at Mania 6. He was on his back nine here for sure in that first run. Looking back, Earthquake should have been saved for the Warrior. I don't know why. Warrior was set up for failure from the beginning. You
should have taken better care of Rude and kept them there.
Yeah, you beat the greatest wrestler of all time at WrestleMania 6 cleanly, and then you don't brush off new opponents for him. And by August of that year, he had already been champion for 4.5, 5 months. You give him Rude, and that's no offense against Rude, but that was in his rearview mirror at that point. You need new challengers for Warrior. Yeah. You need to make his title reign fresh, and they didn't do it. Look, and
on the other hand, Rude did everything he could to be a different person. He put on 20 pounds of muscles to be a different Rude, but still.
And ultimately, Warrior never stood a chance as long as Hogan was in the picture.
No pun intended. Ultimately,
so I give this overall pay-per-view. I'm putting some nostalgia in it, and just the 44-year-old Jess watching it. I give it. I'm being generous, and I give it a B-.
Oh, I knew you were gonna do that. I knew you were gonna be on the B side.
Well, because the high points were good. Like the Hart Foundation winning was great. That was a good match. Yeah, there were some problems, but whatever. That was total 90s corny booking.
C plus.
I agree with a B minus. Like I never wanted to turn it off. It just underwhelmed every time.
I turned it
off.
I turned it off 3 times.
I mean, other than what we're gonna expect, but like
I was like,
it was fine and it was nostalgic. I'm okay with a B minus. It just,
C plus. I had a hard time staying focused. I literally had to watch it in 3 pieces.
So you didn't feel the heat.
I did not. I don't think the heat ever came back because, by the way,
it didn't return.
Before we touch on this a little bit more, and Cuz give your final grade, do not forget. There's a picture that Craig wanted to post of the LA Coliseum for WrestleMania. Don't worry about getting there, but just get there. We're gonna put 100,000 fans in that seat. Guess what? Did it ever happen?
I started laughing when I heard that.
I laughed. I'm like, oh my god, they left the LA. There it is, the LA Memorial Coliseum. March 24th, 91 was going to be the spot of WrestleMania 7. And they claimed due to security reasons that they could not own it there. But we all know that they could not come even close to selling the amount of tickets needed to make that look halfway reasonable. And they ended up moving it down the street to a 20,000 event or even less.
Less than
that. And WrestleMania 7 was a major flop. And I could start to point towards SummerSlam being the debacle where everyone's going like, what the hell is going on here? And this is why. This is exactly why, because of stupid booking, people leaving, obviously really bad injuries did not help them. And this led to this is the downtrodden of Rock.
Should have had the rematch of Warrior and Hogan at 7, honestly.
That's what that's everybody thought it would be. To defend this card too, my B minus also comes from the fact, like I said earlier, this card was scotch taped together. I could go back and look at all of them, and again from the beginning, Sean's injured, Martel was injured, Tugboat was pulled out. Not that would have mattered, but I mean, there's another injury. There's a lot. Caravan Eric stepped in for Beefcake. Like there was just everything from the beginning was they were just so injury ridden with this whole thing, and so like 5 big substitutions. I'm not saying it's an excuse for some of the corny stuff that Dave pointed out, but that matters to me as well.
Craig, what's your
over? B minus. I'm with Jess.
Cuz didn't give us his final grade. Sorry.
Oh, Craig, you already did your whole.
He said B minus. Yeah.
Okay. So I give it a C plus. Nostalgia. I actually would give it a little worse, but
there was on my side, brother.
There was only the Hart Foundation match that I actually really, really liked. I liked the opening match. I like said, Hogan and Tenta to me gotta be. I thought it was, for what it was, the 2 big men and Hogan's return and Tenta being a badass heel, or trying to be built up as a badass heel. They protected him with the count out. I enjoyed that match though. I mean, so there's 3 matches that, I either really liked or, I still enjoyed. So, I mean, C plus, nostalgia also helps. I may have given it worse if it wasn't for that though, for those 2 things I mentioned.
So, and I forgot to, on my last run here before Dave signs off here, I believe Nikolai Volkov is not with us anymore. Randy Savage and Dusty Rhodes, neither one of them are with us anymore. Earthquake is not with us anymore. Ultimate Warrior and Ravishing Rick Rude and Dina Bravo are all not with us. And Sherry. Yeah. I mean, I know it.
And Sapphire.
But some in Sapphire, yeah. Like the older we get, it's like, but so many of these people died in their 40s and 50s wrongfully.
Agreed.
There's only 3 people on my shirt that are alive.
So B plus. I don't know, B minus.
Yeah. Did you say Warrior was gone? Because I feel like it's obvious, but the Warrior's gone.
Yeah, Warrior's gone. Rude's gone.
Yeah. Rude's gone. Yeah.
Hogan's career is gone.
Bobby Heenan's gone.
Heenan's gone. Yeah. Perfect's gone.
Hogan's reputation is gone.
Hogan's reputation is gone.
Wow. For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. Or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Podcast. Don't expect Hogan to jump on any of these. Brother. On social media, give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter at O.W.P 2019 or at Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast. This is Dave, Jess, Craig, and Cuz with the O.W.P signing off.
We'll keep looking for her.
We'll keep looking for her. I think we found her.